Hi, this is Gunjan. I'm representing this data visualization project on behalf of my team. My team members are Tuhin, Aditya, Manish, and Shividya. We have designed this data visualization project around the concept of plotting the patterns of storms all around the world. There are different kind of storms which hit different parts of world, and it has been categorized from we have categorized them from 1 to 4 categories. Along with that, there are so many storms that have never been identified, and there are some which were never known. So, during the part of this study, we have kept them as it was mentioned. So, the goal of this visualization project is to show the patterns of storms and tornadoes hitting all over the world. And finally, we will analyze the most affected states in the United States. So the overall design strategy is to create storm patterns in three parts: operational, analytical, and strategic. The first part is operational. We want to show which storms are hitting the world. So in this visualization you can see we have plotted the category 5 storms, which are the most prominent or most furious ones, and you can find they are concentrated almost on the same belt around the equator. And we have the global filters selected here, which shows the number of years or which year which storm was there. So we can use this global filter to select the particular year, and we can find out if a particular storm was hitting in that area. So this is the sheet which shows the pattern of the storms. So if I select 4, so we'll be able to see 4 and 5 both here, and taking our pinpoint to this place, it can show what category of a storm it is, which is the basin it was hitting, and the type. And in most of the cases we don't have the type, and it is mentioned as not reported. It is based on the weather stations who record the storms. Next is our storm pattern analytical. Here we are trying to analyze all the storms which are hitting different parts of world. So we have to separate the storms, the type of storms, along with the year. So if I use this filter, and if I select only last 10 years, we can find out a pattern which can represent what kind of storms were there. And since I have selected only pattern 5, you can see most of them were hitting the United States and the Bay of Mexico. And you can see it's Rita, that was the most prominent one. Next, we have plotted the year-wise pattern, where we can see for last 10 years how many or what kind of storms were hitting. We have plotted the count of categories, and the count is based on the number of cities or the places where the storms were reported to hit. So for example, this is a category 1 storm, and it was reported in 2004, and the count of category is 481. It means there were 481 places where it was recorded from different weather stations. In the same way, we can see the number of the most prominent or most furious storms. 5 was 12 in 2004. In 2005, it was again low, and it was 12, and it was category 5 storm as mentioned. The overall records is another sheet which tells, based on whatever data we have, what kind of storms are more in number. So it's like how many storms we hit most of the time. So it's the null one or it's the unknown one that we hit all the time. The second was the category 1, which is low in nature, and in the same way the category 5 is the lowest one. And now we have decided, we made this dashboard, which is an operational dashboard, and we have global filters based on the category and the year. In this dashboard we have selected only 10 years of data and only two categories, 4 and 5. So if I click on 4 here, it's going to show you the category 4 storms. So the global filter, it shows on the map what kind of places it has been hitting, and in the graph it shows like uh, in which year how many counts were there. So for example, in season 2011 it was category 4 storms counted 27. In the same way it was 38 in 2010. Similar to this, we have plotted the storm patterns in a strategic dashboard. So it's like we have plotted which of the states of United States has been hit most and by what kind of a storm. So if you click on this in this heat map, we can find out it is the state of Texas, and it's the Hurricane Rita in 2005. And the number of stations recorded this disturbance or hurricane is 509. We have another incident of 2005 which is 254, but it's based on the calculations. So we have multiple incidents, but you can see it's a different one. It's a hurricane, but it's Ike, it's 2008. Next, based on the strategic dashboard, we have to find out what kind of storms have been hitting, and for what kind of storms we had to raise public assistance programs. For example, individual and household program, or hazard mitigation program, or individual assistance program, or public assistance program. So if we go to any of these, we can see yes or no, and based on this dashboard we can figure out that it's the Texas state which was hit most of the time, and one can figure out that there is Texas state which says yes and no both. So the reason for yes and no both is because few reporting centers had to initiate this program because it was hit severely, and few of them didn't have to because they were it was not required in those places, although it was hit. So the total count is different. It's 254 and it's 255, and here it's 205. It's Katrina, so it's the same year but it's a different hurricane. In the same way, we can see the hazard mitigation programs from the government, and it plots the same pattern. It's the Texas state which is most vulnerable to such kind of disturbances. In individual assistance program, we can find out again it's the Hurricane Rita which was most furious, and it's the Texas state. And when we go to public assistance program, it's the same, the state of Texas. So based on this strategic dashboard, we can find out that the state of Texas is the most vulnerable. Now we go to another sheet which tells us about the storms and in the basin, what kind of basins they have been hitting most. So here we can see it's the category 5 storms which have been hitting the North Atlantic basin. So the overall purpose of this dashboard and this project is to plot all the storms and their pattern, and the intended audience here is the, the normal public who is living in this area, and the people who are working in disaster management services. So based on these storm patterns, we can figure out that it's the state of Texas, which is most vulnerable, and we have used two different data sources. So if we want to check what places are most vulnerable, probably we have to get into the data by each record, and we have to find out which places are most vulnerable. But since it is a visualization, it is not a part of this study. Uh, the data does not contain the category of the storms, but we have used a logic that if the wind flow is more than 137 kiloknots, then it is a category 5 storm. And in the same way, we have categorized 4, 3, 2, and 1. So, the conclusion of our study is that the category 5 storms are most furious and most devastating, and the state in the United States which is most affected by these kind of storms is Texas. Thanks.